Righto, off you go.
So for this Tip Tuesday, we're going through summer, things to expect through summer. But before we go any further, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification button as well, and then when we upload future videos, you'll get notified and you can watch them at your own leisure. So there's a few things to actually consider with summer weather, but it actually depends on what varieties you're growing in your garden. So it's very important to know what genuses are actually growing through summer and what ones are dormant. So some that commonly you'll know that will be dormant going into summer are aeoniums. You've also got crassulas, graptopetalums. Some sedums will actually go dormant as well through the summer. If it gets super hot, even echeveria will go dormant just to try and survive, pull through and try and conserve as much water as they can. So ones that are actually growing more through the summer, you'll notice are your echeverias, and you've also got lithops, other living stones as well. You've got ceropegias, so your chain of hearts, they're actually growing through the summer as well. So so you'll notice that some may lose their color. So for example, like echeveria, so they're actually going to be growing. So they'll start to lose that color. You may notice more color out of your aeoniums, crassulas as they go dormant and switch off. Then they'll start to show off that bit of color as they stress a bit. So you want to make sure that, particularly those that are sleeping in your garden, that you're reducing your watering. Obviously, if they're in the out in the garden and exposed to rain, there's not much you can do about it except make sure that you've got a really well drained garden mix or potting mix if you've got your pots outside and you don't want to take them in and out under cover. So yeah, important to add some extra mineral mix. So you can add like gravel, crushed granite, humus, perlites there as well. You can use zeolite. What else is there? Scoria as well. Things like that. So, and that'll actually help to get that water away from the root systems of your plants as quickly as possible. And yeah, so also good to use a seaweed solution. Very important, as it can actually help to toughen them up to get them through summer. So that'll also, while they're still trying to put a little bit more growth on, while some of the of them are about to go to sleep, the seaweed solution is very good with getting their root systems going, so they can develop a bit more there before they actually shut down. So, and it helps with pests and disease as well, through the heat as well, but also helps them with in winter when it's really cold, and that helps with pest and disease too. I'm not sure whether I just mentioned
You did.
that. Sorry. It helps with that too, and it just helps with getting good microorganism activity in your potting mix or in your garden mix as well. So yeah, but remember, it's not a fertilizer. It's just like a soil conditioner or a plant tonic, but it's fantastic. So highly recommend using that in your garden, and it'll also help bring out some color in your succulents as well too. So another thing you want to really consider is shade. So it's very important to the positioning of your plants and where you've got them growing. So you may have through the winter and spring, they may have been okay with a mostly sunny spot there, but once summer comes and you get that really hot afternoon sun, you'll notice that some may not like it and start to burn. So it's very important. Some will actually tolerate that really hot afternoon sun, western sun. So it's very important to try and acclimatize, get them used to more sunlight. Particularly like your echeveria can handle a little bit more sun, although a bit of protection in that afternoon is recommended. So by doing that, you can just throw a bit of shade cloth over the top. So you can use like a 50% white, or you can use, if you've got plants like Haworthia, which love a much more shadier spot, and they do go dormant in the summer too. I didn't mention that before. Then you may want to go a higher percentage shade cloth, like 70%, even up to 90% green. It is fine for those guys as well. So, but yeah, if you're up in like Queensland, I know a lot of people are using the green 70% shade cloth, even on the echeveria, and that they say that it helps a lot there too. So sometimes the 50% white won't help there. But
Can I just stop you for a second? What's the difference between white and green? Why sometimes white? Why sometimes green?
So some people use the white because it actually reflects the sunlight, so it keeps them a little bit cooler. The green just helps it to be a little bit more darker than the white, so it's really good for, say, Haworthia there, and it just provides more shade. Yeah, that's.
I'm trying to get you to say that you're better off getting the the darker green because it's got bigger holes.
Well, yeah, that's if you're going with the lower percentage.
Yeah.
Sorry, the hot 70, 50%. No, sorry, lower percentage. So on the sides of our greenhouses here, we've got 30% green, which is the equivalent of 50% white. So they actually do have bigger holes in them, so it actually helps with better ventilation. So yeah, important to also make sure that, you know, on this fire and ice here, that we get rid of all these dead leaves, because we want as much airflow to push through underneath and in amongst the plant there, and dry it out as much as possible, especially after you've given them a water or some rain, because you don't want, you know, humidity to hang out in there. It's just asking for the plant to start rotting. So very important to make sure you do, you know, check these guys once every couple of weeks and just get rid of those dead leaves, and they'll be super happy.
It's a perfect place for the bugs to hide.
And bad bugs to hide, particularly mealybug. So mealybug is very active this time of the year. So yeah, very important to make sure you remove those dead leaves, and keep an eye on your succulents as well for those guys as they go bonkers.
You've done a video on that previously, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to figure out how to put the link.
Find the link for it, yeah.
Maybe.
But that's pretty much it as well. So yeah, as I mentioned in a video, you know, last week we did, or a couple of weeks ago we did on Graptopetulums, because they're going dormant this, you know, through the summer, and if they're quite big in the pot, you want to try to avoid potting them up into the next size, because they're not going to start to grow and fill up that extra space of dirt or potting mix or that you've got. So very important to hold off on those guys until autumn, when they start actively growing again. Then you can pot them up there. So yeah, just hold off on that. But otherwise, that's about it there. So yeah, very important. You want to make sure that if you need to use shade cloth, use the shade cloth to protect these guys, because some can burn a lot easier than others. So I find that Agavoides, so like this Agavoides ebony, looks amazing. I tend to find that these guys burn so much easier than, say, Canty here, this beautiful Canty. So yeah, I would protect Agavoides a lot better than, say, Canty there. And then they seem to do a lot better in winter than, say, Canty. But it's funny how the plants work. But it's all trial and error, really, and then you get to know what kind of suits your climate and what doesn't.
Watering? Yeah,
watering. So you want to, particularly the ones that are dormant, like I said before, you just want to hold off on the watering. So you may want to, you know, it may be tempting to, because your mix is really dry, to water a lot more regularly as it dries a lot faster. So try and avoid doing that, particularly the ones that are sleeping, because their roots aren't going to be, you know, awake and actively growing. So yeah, they're just going to sit in water, and if it's going to, you know, getting mid to high 30-degree days or 40-degree days, then they're just gonna cook.
All right, pause. Okay, we're back from the toilet break.
Yep. So yeah, with your dormant plants, so yeah, you just want to be careful that you're not watering them too regularly. Like I said, if you're out in the garden, then you really want to make sure that your garden mix is very well drained. Whereas you say your Echeveria, they're going to be actively growing. You want to wait, probably, it's still tempting to water them, you know, every day sometimes, or every second day. I try and avoid doing that. I probably water about once a week, maybe twice at the most. And yeah, so sometimes if you're getting those really high 30-degree days, and even in the 40s, these guys will shut down too, the Echeveria. So they, you know, the roots are going to shut down too, and they're not going to try and take in any water. So if they're watered, you keep watering them, they're just going to sit in it, and most likely they're going to rot on you as well. So I find watering is best in the morning, and then it's got the whole day, well, most of the morning before it gets to the peak of the heat of the day, for that potting mix to dry out. So a lot of people will do it at night time. That's fine, it can work as well. I just tend to find if you're in a high humid area and you're watering at the night time, you know, you're going to get have a fair bit of humidity around your plants, and or increase the humidity and potentially have rotting plants as well. So I just personally find it easier in the morning, fairly early, and then it's got most of the morning, several hours to try and dry it as much as possible before we hit the peak of the day with the heat. So and yeah, I think that's all I had to mention, particularly with the watering. And I'm sure we're going to get some viewers asking what are these plants, so we'll go through them just so everyone knows. So here you've got your Echeveria canty. Then down here at the front here we've got Echeveria Monroe. We've got Echeveria Lemon Twist. You've got Echeveria Agavoides Ebony. Then this pinky purpley one here, we've got Echeveria Lolita. Then we've got a Crassula Aoboshi. Then you've got Portulaca. We call it the variegated form. It does have another name, a cultivar name for it. We've got Aeonium Mardi Gras. You've got Aeonium Sunburst. Then you've got Echeveria Fire and Ice. You've got Sedum Pink Jelly Bean. You've got Lavender Pebbles, but it's called Graptopedum amethystinum, Lavender Pebbles. And then you've got Sedum clavatum there. So yeah, we thought we'd just throw in a nice colourful arrangement here just to show you while we were doing our video. So hopefully you found that helpful. Yeah, hopefully, you know, some of the things that we've said will help you through this summer. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let us know and I'll get to them as quickly as possible. So have a great week, and yeah, garden early in the morning before the heat so you can beat the heat, and then you can just I don't know, sit on the porch and admire your plants if that's what you like doing. So you will catch you the next Tip Tuesday. See yous.